So I'm going to show you how to execute a stop loss strategy using our key levels that we draw every single morning. Now this is intraday, and so we'll see what the market gives us, but just wanted to go through the basics of what you need is an entry, and then obviously you're going to want your stop loss, so it's what you're willing to risk. And then what you're going to do is you're going to essentially trail your stop loss once your trade goes into profit. So you can still have take profits, and so I'm going to walk you through that so that you can get an idea. And this is a great way to get runners, if you've ever heard of the term a runner, which means you've had stop loss or your take profits hit, and then you move your stop loss to break even, and then you're able to get you just wait for the move to take place, and then you're able to just have that one single contract on that is able to run, right? So it's like a risk-free trade because you're already in profit. So I want to show you how to execute that, and we're going to do that in this practice account. So we have our levels here at 380 and then 226. Now, again, it's already made its move down. This is the move that we took in the morning, but we just want to execute this trade, and it does look like it's moving up, but it moved into this resistance zone, and so we're in this resistance zone now. And so what we're going to do is we're going to, one, get our entry, right? So we're going to go short here, and then I'm going to place my stop loss up here. And what we're looking for is now the market to, one, come down, right? And so if you want to do what is called a runner, you would I accidentally placed it. This is why we use a practice game. So I accidentally placed another short. I was trying to put a take profit. Okay, so as you can see here, we have our limit buy at 333. So if it comes down to this level, right, we take profit. And let's do another one that's just a little bit closer here. So we'll just do it kind of like a 12 point take profit. So we have our take profits here, right? One just is hit. So now if you want to, you can move your stop loss to break even. Now I think that is going to be a little bit too close for me, because you're basically just going to get stopped out because it's only moved 10 points, right? Or at least 12 points for our take profit. So now you've secured some profit, right? And then you're just going to give it some room for it to go down. And once this goes down, the goal is to move this into profit so that you're playing with profits, right? You have no risk essentially on the table, and you're just risking profits. So let's see how this plays out. And if you don't want to risk this much money, again, this is just a practice account, so you could have your stop loss here or have it a little bit closer. I personally like to risk about $500 per contract, which would be a stop loss of $1,500 right here, which is just right above this key level. Okay, so it's moving down. So this is a great opportunity that you could move this into profit if you wanted to, right? You have $800 of profit available to you, and it's like, yeah, let's try to secure that, right? Because we would hate to have a great trade turn red, right? Don't want a green trade to turn red. That's the whole part of risk management. And so now that we have this trade that has gone into profit, I'm going to move my stop loss into profit. So now we've banked some money, and now the most that we can lose is, well, $800, but we're going to still make $200 on this trade. Now, what the stop loss strategy is moving this into profit as the trade goes in your favor. So now I'm banking on a guarantee of $410 on this trade. If you want to have more room for this to run, obviously you can move this back up to the break-even point, right? So that you don't get stopped out for having too tight of a trailing stop. That is probably what I see, a big mistake of a lot of beginners. But again, there's no shame in taking profits. So you can have, like right now we have 2 contracts on, so it could be a 2 contract runner, or if you want to take profit once more and just have one contract on because you're like, hey, I don't want to risk losing or giving back that $500. Like, I want to lock in another $500. You can totally do that. And so we can buy the market, right? So we bought the market, and so now we just have one trade on. So we've bagged about $1,000 thus far, and you can move your stop loss into profit. And at this point, we're just hoping for this thing to run, right? So let's zoom out a little bit. And if this thing continues down short, this is right here is the target. So if you're watching your trade, you can just keep ratcheting this down as the trade goes into your favor. So that's a stop loss strategy, and this is how you use this with a runner so that you are able to catch a bigger move versus just having the typical take profits and then you're out of the trade and then you see, oh man, it keeps moving down. Like, I wish I was still in that trade. Well, this is a strategy, a more advanced strategy, so that you can get more out of your trades and do it risk-free, right? Because we've already made money, so I'm willing to risk the $400, and I'm really not risking it because I've already made money, and we have our stop loss here in profit actually for $75. So it's free money that we're playing with. We're playing with profits. So this is how you can execute a stop loss strategy and layer it onto what you're already using. So if you have an entry model and you really like to work with that, then you can still use this as your exit strategy. So the stop loss methodology and the stop loss strategy is really kind of like an exit strategy, more so than an entry strategy. And this has had such a big move. Like, this is all pretty much support. So it would make sense if this kind of rallied back up, and it looks like that's what it's going to do. But again, we have our stop loss in place, and so if it gets out, hey, we still locked in this $1,600 here, and boom. Okay, so that ends up being our total, and it's great because you know where your risk is and you know how much you're willing to risk, even if it's still in profit, and you can breathe easier because it's such a simple way to exit your trades. And I would have loved to have this keep coming down so we could show you how to ratchet down that trailing stop, but I think this is a great example of using a trailing stop and using the stop loss strategy so that you can see that you can continually profit on these larger moves, and then also how to just play with money that you've already made, right? So we know exactly where our risk was. We knew exactly what our plan was, which was what our entry was, and we were expecting this to go down, and it did because it was failing off this key level that we drew in the morning. And then once we were in profit, we moved our stop loss to break even, which is super key because we don't want to turn a green trade into a red trade. That is a big no-no. And then once we have those trades in the green and we're making money, you can have your take profits, but then you can also use this trailing stop to ratchet down that stop loss and basically, well, in this point, it's not really a stop loss, right? It's essentially a take profit just below your entry, okay? So that's a great example of using the stop loss strategy, and if you want to try that more advanced strategy in your exit model, please give it a go, give a like, subscribe to this channel, and I'm going to do a lot more in-depth strategies and different things that you can utilize in your trading plan to hopefully make you more money than ever before.